Breaking news, Hunter Biden made a surprise appearance at his own contempt of Congress hearing held by the House Committee on Government Oversight, and things got pretty crazy pretty fast. Congresswoman Nancy Mace accused the younger Biden of having no balls and having white privilege. Let's watch.
Mr. Chairman, Chairman Comer, first of all, my first question is who brought Hunter Biden to be here today? That's my first question. Second question, you are the epitome of white privilege, coming into the Oversight Committee, spitting in our face, ignoring a congressional subpoena to be deposed. What are you afraid of? You have no balls to come up here and...
Mr. Chairman, point of inquiry.
Mr. Chairman,
if the ladies recognize, if the gentlelady wants to hear from Hunter Biden, we can hear from him right now, Mr. Chairman. Let's take a vote and hear from Hunter Biden. What are you afraid of?
Hold on.
Order.
Are women allowed to speak in here or no? Are women allowed to speak in here or no? Could you keep interrupting me?
I'll interrupt the chairman. I don't know that he's a lady.
I think that that Hunter Biden should be arrested right here, right now, and go straight to jail. Our nation is founded on the rule of law.
Come on.
Hunter sat in the hearing room to hear much of the bickering between GOP members. However, once Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene began to speak, the younger Biden ducked out. Let's take a look.
Gentlemen, time's expired. Chair recognizes Ms. Greene from Georgia for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently you're afraid of my words.
Whoa! Oh.
I'd like to reclaim my time, Mr. Chairman.
Burst their bubble. Wow, that's too bad.
Now, as a reminder, Republicans wanted to have Hunter testify behind closed doors, while Hunter insisted his deposition be held publicly. Biden previously gave a presser outside the U.S. Capitol and defended his business record while denying accusations of any wrongful financial link to his father on the day he was originally set to testify.
Looks like we're watching reality TV.
It increasingly feels that way. Congress was rated as one of the least productive Congresses of all time this past year, but they certainly do have time for these reality TV show shenanigans. I want to ask you what you make of the strategic choice of Hunter Biden showing up here today.
I mean, it seems like his decision to participate in the reality television experience. I think it would be great for him to answer some questions publicly. So I agree that there's no reason to have this deposition in private when he has said he would be happy to do so in public. I think it will ultimately be totally fruitless because he will just decline to answer any questions. He'll plead the fifth, etc. But we could watch him go through that exercise. He's not going to actually, it would be foolish to actually answer questions. No one really does. So there's not much that's going to come out of this either way. It seems like, you know what, this is just good, on some level, good optics, I guess, good politics for everyone, because Republicans want to look like they're going after Hunter. They're, prosecuting Hunter verbally, if not actually doing anything to advance the investigation into whether there was some legitimate wrongdoing that involves Joe Biden. We're in a vibes-based political environment, and those were some vibes there. I thought it was interesting, Nancy Mace kind of just appropriating woke ideas there.
Oh, I was going to get to that.
Somewhat cynically. She said both that Hunter Biden has white privilege and that how dare you interrupt a woman.
A woman when she's speaking.
I don't know if that was kind of a sarcastic
I'm sure. Look, the thing is, I think it's starting out as sarcasm. I think a lot of conservatives are trying to basically own the libs with their own language. But the more they keep doing it, the more, frankly, it feels sincere. Maybe the white privilege comment starts to feel a little like sarcastic. But by the time she got to, can a woman talk? That kind of felt organic in the way that I think when Nikki Haley is talking about having to do everything Ginger Rogers style and heels and backward, it's more difficult than what Fred Astaire had to do. That feels like very organic. And I think that I don't blame women in politics for having observed a double standard and wanting to talk about it. But I do have concerns that conservatives who announce a distaste for that kind of politics and who support certain attacks on inclusive books and the like across the country certainly turn around and are happy to use that, deploy that language in their own defense.
Yeah, I would remind them that conservative voters ostensibly really dislike wokeness, and I agree with you that you can cross a line from mocking it to actually like appropriating it. That is going at some level, I think, is going to turn people off. Also,
I should note that I think that the underlying principles are real, and my critique of liberal identity politics and conservatives who start to weaponize identity in these ways as well is that it's a bastardization of a real concept. There, of course, is racism and prejudice in this world. There is discrimination in this world. People are discriminated on the basis of their names on hiring applications and housing applications. There are disparities that are gender-based and race-based and the like. But a white person telling another white person that they have white privilege, or a woman cynically weaponizing that when she doesn't care about the interests or supports policies that many people would argue were against the interests of women across the country on a regular basis. Right. That's the problem.
The privilege that Hunter Biden has that should be interrogated is whether he used his status as a political scion to enrich himself, and then more importantly to potentially indirectly leverage actual public policy. That was why Ukrainians and Chinese business people were paying him, and whether that amounted to any actual influence on his father has not been proven. We have questions about it, and I think it is perfectly legitimate to continue investigating it fruitfully and productively, not just shouting at each other in the halls of Congress, although at least they're not busy raising my taxes, I guess.
I was going to just weigh in earlier on the question of the strategic value of what Hunter Biden did. I think when he showed up the last time and gave his speech outside of Congress, it was a demonstration that I am willing to submit for this, give this testimony, I am willing to submit for this deposition. I just want everything to be out in the open. And I think it gave him the higher hand. Republicans didn't really have a good response to it. There is no real good reason why they wouldn't want the deposition to be open.
Right. And Jim Jordan admitted he kind of had to, when he was asked about that on TV, he's like, well, we could also do a public deposition. Like, okay, so you admit that this criticism has teeth.
Yeah. So I think that was a good power move for Hunter Biden. This, choosing to go inside the chamber where Republicans are giving remarks, I think was a miscalculation, because it gives them an opportunity to shout things at you in a forum where you don't actually have the right to reply and defend yourself. So you're sitting there confronted with their characterizations of you, and I think it makes you look weak. And even if you were already planning to leave for reasons unrelated to what's being said, it does give the perception that you're running away from attacks that you're, quote, unwilling to respond to, when in fact it's obvious that he can't march to the front of the room and just start, defending himself in that way. So I do think it's one of those kind of trial practice things where, they say don't ask a question that you're not going to know the answer to. Don't put yourself in a situation that is so uncontrollable like that. I think he should stick to taking a stand outside of the halls of Congress where he can talk to the press and not have to do a kind of one-sided faux deposition in a congressional setting.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I agree. All right, we will continue to monitor any developments in the Hunter Biden saga and investigation. If there's any more incoherent shouting in the Capitol, we'll let you know about it. More Rising right after this.